Hello everyone, today we are going to continue with our comic strip Black Bob. Now I've already done one video about Black Bob which you can watch if you click the link up here. Otherwise we're going to continue with this one today, and in this video I'm going to read the comic strip. I'm going to explain all the words and phrases so that you can have 100% understanding of this comic strip. Now, the title of it is Black Bob, and Black Bob is this dog here. He is a sheepdog. And a sheepdog is a dog that works for a farmer, and this kind of farmer is a shepherd. A shepherd is a farmer that has lots of sheep and takes care of the sheep. So this shepherd is called Andrew Glenn. Andrew Glenn is Scottish. He comes from Scotland. So Andrew Glenn and Black Bob are partners. They work together to take care of the sheep. But the comic strip is named after the dog, the sheepdog. The late winter blizzard left the farm under a carpet of snow for a week, but soon the worst was past and the snow melted away. So a blizzard is a snowstorm when you have snow falling, but it is going everywhere, and you go outside and it's hard to see. You feel the snow flying on your face. You cannot see anything. Okay, that is a snowstorm or a blizzard. So there was a blizzard in late winter, so maybe February, and it left the farm under a carpet of snow for a week. So a carpet, here you can see down here I have a rug. This is a rug, and here this is the floor. Here I have a wooden floor and I have a rug. Now a carpet is very similar to a rug. A carpet goes everywhere, but a rug is one thing that you can move. So I have a wooden floor, not a carpeted floor. I have a wooden floor and I have a rug on it. But sometimes people have a carpeted floor or have a carpet and the whole floor is covered in carpet, and that's quite common in the UK because in the wintertime it gets a little cold, so it's quite traditional or common to have carpets in our houses. Now, in this story, there was a carpet of snow, so that means that there was like a carpet over the whole farm, but snow. It was snow. So, you know, in wintertime, when you see a house like that and you see a thick layer of snow on top of the house, you could describe that as a carpet of snow. And so the whole farm was covered in that. But soon the worst was past and the snow melted away, so it became water. Fresh grass is better for the sheep, Bob. We should get them back into the fields. Hang on, that's my phone. Fresh grass is better for the sheep, Bob. We should get them back into the fields. Hang on, that's my phone. Breep, breep. So Bob is saying to Black Bob that the fresh grass is really good for the sheep. So that new grass. So we should get the sheep into the field so they can eat the new grass. But hang on, which means wait. Hang on, that's my phone. Breep, breep. And Andrew says, hello? Hi, Henry. No, my sheep were all safe indoors and I haven't seen any of yours. Hello? Hi, Henry. No, my sheep were all safe indoors and I haven't seen any of yours. So someone called Henry is calling Andrew about his sheep. This Henry man cannot find his sheep. And here is Andrew still on the phone, holding his crook. This is a crook, a shepherd's crook for taking the sheep by the collar. It was Andrew's neighbour, Henry Wilson, wondering if he had seen some sheep of his which had gone missing. So Andrew is talking to his neighbour. Henry Wilson. So a neighbour is someone you live next to. If this is my house, then this house is where my neighbour lives. Or this house is also my neighbour. So his neighbour is calling because he can't find his sheep. Out on the hills, Andrew was puzzled when he saw his fence was broken. That wasn't like that a few days ago. The sheep could get out onto the road. That wasn't like that a few days ago. The sheep could get out onto the road. So he says a few days ago, the fence was not like this. The fence was not broken. And when he sees the fence like this, he's puzzled. Huh? When you're puzzled, you're confused. You don't understand. Huh? The fence is broken. It wasn't like that 2 or 3 days ago. The sheep could get out onto the road, so of course it's very dangerous because these sheep can leave the farm and go onto the road and get run over. Or just get lost and not come back. And in fact, there are 2 sheep running, trying to escape. And Bob says, "Go stop them, Bob. Bring them back here. Go stop them, Bob. Bring them back here." And he points to the hole in the fence and he says to Bob, "Go get the sheep. Stop the sheep from escaping because these sheep are about to escape." Bob sped into position, turning the sheep away from the break in the fence. So Bob sped into position. So this is the position he needs to be in. He needs to be in front of the broken fence, in front of the hole. Okay, and so he sped into position. He went really fast into that position, and he turned the sheep away from the break in the fence. So these sheep were coming, and then they turned away. The weather didn't break this fence. It's been deliberately broken. So, the weather didn't break this fence. It's been deliberately broken. So here, Andrew realizes that, the weather didn't break it. So it was not the blizzard of snow that broke this fence. It's been deliberately broken. Someone has broken this fence. If you do something deliberately, you want to do it. It is your intention. So someone wanted to break this fence and they broke it. Okay. Just an example of deliberately. If I am holding this jar, I have a glass jar, and whoa, I dropped it. I did not drop it deliberately. That was an accident. But maybe I am angry, and this is my jar. I'm angry and I want to break it. Then I do it deliberately. Okay, it is my intention. If someone hits me, then it's probably deliberate. They wanted to do it. But if I'm walking down the street and someone walks into me, then it's probably an accident. But sometimes maybe it's deliberate. Yesterday, I was on the tube in London, and the tube is the train that goes under the ground in London. We call it the tube. And I was just walking down the platform, so the place where you get the train, the platform, walking down it, and then someone walked into me and did that, like really hard. And I turned around and this person just stared at me like that. So I don't know what was wrong. But in that case, I knew it was deliberate. I knew it wasn't an accident. This person had wanted to hit me for some reason. So for some reason, there are some horrible people are out there. I don't know what that person's problem was. But anyway, so in this case, Andrew Glenn realizes that this fence was broken, and it was broken deliberately. Someone wanted to break it. So Andrew decided to inspect the rest of his fencing. Sure enough, further round the hill... So he decided to inspect the rest of his fencing. So if you inspect something, you look at it really carefully. So here I have my notes, and I'm just reading my notes. But if I inspect them, then I'm going to read them very, very carefully and closely. Or if I buy an object, like I buy this pen, then I might inspect it. I might look at it. Yep, that seems like a good pen. Yes, I will buy it. So you can inspect something if you want to have a really good understanding of the thing, if it's in good condition, if it has any problems. So he's inspecting his fencing. Here you can say his fence or his fencing. Sure enough, further round the hill, what does he find? It's broken again. He finds it's broken in another place. And he says, "This has been done on purpose too. What's going on?" This has been done on purpose too. What's going on? So here he can see this fence is broken, and it's also been done on purpose. So done on purpose means the same thing as deliberately. If you do something deliberately, you do it because you want to do it. You have an intention to do it. And if you do something on purpose, it's the same thing. So he knows someone has broken his fence and they wanted to break it. Why? We don't know. Just then, a police car and a Land Rover appeared. Andrew told Bob to take the sheep to the next field while he investigated. So, a police car appeared just then, which means in that moment, that exact moment, just then, a police car appeared and a Land Rover appeared. A Land Rover is a type of car which is big. It's like a type of SUV car, an SUV, and it's good for driving on the road, but also for driving in fields and on hills, in the desert. So it's a kind of vehicle or car that is good for driving in different situations. So this Land Rover and this police car appeared just then. Andrew told Bob to take the sheep to the next field while he investigated. So he speaks to Bob, his dog, and he says, "Bob, take the sheep to this field, to that field. I'm going to speak to the policeman. I'm going to go and investigate. I'm going to go and find out what's happening." So I'm going to go and investigate. Investigate means to find out what's happening, to go and look or speak to someone to find out information. "Hello, who's this then?" "Hello, who's this then?" Which is another way to say, "Who are you? Who are you?" Who's this then? But it's a kind of comment that you say to yourself when you see someone. Who's this then? So he's not saying this to the people, but he's just saying it to himself. Who's this then? It was Henry Wilson and a policeman. "Andrew, Henry says you may have some of his sheep on your land." My lad says they saw them, Glenn. Sheep stealing is a serious crime, you know." "Don't be daft, Henry. I've plenty of sheep of my own." So the policeman says, "Andrew, Henry says you may have some of his sheep on your land." And Henry, here's Henry Wilson, his neighbour, and he says, my lads means my kids, my boys. Lads is is a word you can use to describe a young man or a boy. So if the man has sons, if he has one son or two sons or three sons, he can call them his lads, my lads, my lads. And this is not just a Scottish thing, but it's very common in the UK to talk about lads as a way to speak about boys or young men. My lads say they saw them, Glenn. Sheep stealing is a serious crime, you know. So here, Henry is saying that his children, his sons, said that they saw his sheep on Andrew's farm. And then he says, sheep stealing is a serious crime. So he's threatening Andrew. He's saying to Andrew, Andrew, have you been stealing my sheep? And of course, to steal something is to take something that is not ours. For example, this is my pen, and if someone comes and runs away, then, hey, you've stolen my pen. They've taken something that is not theirs. And Andrew says, don't be daft, Henry. I've plenty sheep of my own. So don't be daft means don't be stupid. To be daft means to be stupid or to be ridiculous or crazy. Something that someone says that's daft is like a crazy idea or a stupid idea. So he's telling Henry, don't be stupid, don't be daft. I've plenty sheep of my own. I have loads of sheep. I have lots of sheep. I have many sheep. I don't need your sheep, Henry. I have lots of sheep. Bob had taken the sheep to the field, but there was a surprise waiting for him. More sheep, and Bob could tell they weren't Andrew Glenn's. If the policeman saw these sheep, there would be trouble. Okay, so Bob has run to the field and he has seen lots of sheep, but they're not all Andrew's sheep. Bob knows the sheep well. Bob recognizes the sheep. If you recognize something, you know you have seen it before and you remember it. So Bob sees these sheep and it says, I don't recognize these sheep. I have never seen these sheep before. These are not Andrew's sheep. And of course, if the policeman sees these sheep, then the policeman will think that Andrew is stealing the sheep. Bob set about... Oh, sorry, I don't know why I'm doing that Scottish accent. Okay, that's fine. Bob set about rounding up the strange sheep to keep them away from his owner's flock. So Bob set about rounding up the strange sheep. So to round up the sheep we talked about last time is to get them together. So if the sheep are all in different places, he needs to round them up so that they're all together. And to set about doing something means to start doing something. If you set about doing your homework, you start to do your homework. Or if you set about tidying the house, then you start to tidy the house. So he set about rounding up the sheep. He started to round up the strange sheep, so these are the sheep that he has not seen before, to keep them away from his owner's flock. So a flock of sheep is a way to talk about a group of sheep. So Black Bob the dog is keeping these strange sheep away from Andrew's flock of sheep. Meanwhile, if I see any of your sheep, I'll be sure to let you know, but you should really take better care of them. If I see any of your sheep, I'll be sure to let you know, but you should really take better care of them. In fact, aren't those your sheep in the road? In fact, aren't those your sheep in the road? So here, Andrew and Henry are talking, and Andrew is saying, if I see any of your sheep, Henry, then I will tell you, I will let you know. But, Henry, you should take better care of your sheep. You are losing your sheep. Your sheep are going off. You need to take better care of them, Henry. And Henry says, in fact, aren't those your sheep in the road? So Henry is saying, but look, your sheep are here. Those are your sheep in the road. You are losing your sheep, Andrew. Bob had shepherded the mystery flock through the holes in the fence just in time. So he'd shepherded. So a shepherd is a person who has sheep, and a shepherd's crook. And to shepherd the sheep means to move them or to take care of them. So Bob shepherded or moved the mystery flock, the strange sheep, the sheep that he did not know whose sheep they were, through the holes in the fence just in time. So through that hole in the fence that we saw here, because Bob found these sheep, these strange sheep, these mystery sheep, on Andrew's land. So he needs to get these sheep out, because these are not Andrew's sheep, and if the policeman sees them, then Andrew will be in trouble. Henry Wilson was made to look a fool in front of Andrew Glenn and the annoyed policeman. Okay. So here, Henry was made to look a fool. Well, a fool is an idiot. So, of course, he looks like an idiot now because he just told the policeman that Andrew is stealing his sheep. But now, Henry's sheep are not on Andrew's land. So, there is no evidence. There's no evidence that Andrew has stolen any sheep. And so the policeman thinks, you are wasting my time, Henry. No, Andrew did not steal your sheep. And so the policeman's feeling a bit annoyed with Henry. Ho ho! Get those sheep off the road, Mr. Wilson. You're causing a nuisance. But how did this happen? So here we can see that I think Andrew makes this sound ho ho just because he's quite happy. He's quite happy. He was nearly in trouble for something he didn't do. He did not take Henry Wilson's sheep, but he was nearly in trouble with the policeman. So I think he just feels a little bit happy. Ho ho. So he makes that sound. And the police officer tells Henry Wilson to get the sheep off the road because, of course, it's dangerous. And you're causing a nuisance. You're causing a nuisance, Mr. Wilson. You're causing a nuisance. A nuisance is a problem. If you're causing problems for other people, you're causing a nuisance. If a person is a nuisance, they are annoying. An annoying person. They are such a nuisance. A nuisance. So something that is a nuisance or someone that is a nuisance causes problems or is annoying. So he says that you are causing a nuisance. You are causing problems. And Henry is a bit confused. But how did this happen? My sheep are in the road. I'm really confused. How are my sheep in the road? Where did they come from? That's what Henry's thinking. Where did my sheep come from? They're in the road. Why? How? And so that is the end of this chapter of Black Bob. More Black Bob later. So I have a couple questions for you, but I need to think of them first. So 1 second. Okay, my first question is, in this moment here, in this frame, why does Andrew feel worried? Why does he feel worried? And why does he tell Black Bob to go to stop the sheep? Why does he tell the sheep? Why does he tell Black Bob to stop the sheep, and why does he feel worried? Of course, you can pause the video here, give your answer, and then after I will give you a suggested response. So we could say that he's worried because the fence is broken, there is a hole in the fence, and the sheep are about to escape. So he tells Black Bob to go and to stop the sheep from escaping. Okay. My other question for you does not have a specific answer. I mean, we don't know the answer for it yet. But in the story, we can see that Andrew realizes that someone broke this fence on purpose. They did it deliberately. Someone wanted to break this fence. So my question for you is, why do you think someone broke the fence deliberately? And do you have a suspect? And that means, is there a person that you think did it? Maybe you think the policeman did it. Maybe you think Henry Wilson, his neighbor, did it. Or maybe you think it's someone that's not in the comic strip yet. So, why do you think someone did it, and who do you think did it? Why do you think someone did it, and who do you think did it? So, I have no idea. So in terms of an answer, no idea. I would love to hear your answers. So let me know for that one in the comments below. Okay. Also, if you would like to practice a useful English phrase, in the comments below, you could write the phrase, "You're causing a nuisance." You're causing a nuisance. So when someone causes a lot of problems or is very annoying, you can say, "You're causing a nuisance." So write that phrase down in the comments below, and that just helps the YouTube algorithm to favor my channel. Also, please give this video a like and share it with anyone you know that is learning English and that it could benefit them. Thank you very much for joining me, everyone, today, and I will see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye.